Well, good evening, everyone. It's Monday. It's Airfix and Chill. Not really much to discuss. I haven't got any topics, so I thought tonight we'll have Ask Us Anything. So if you're in the chat, if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask us, be free and ask away. All I ask is so that we can see what's being asked. You put the word question in capital letters at the beginning and then ask away. But yeah, I've got I couldn't really think of a chat tonight. Really, I've got a couple of ideas for the future, but I thought we'll just open up. But anyways, good evening, everyone. Hope you're all well. What's on your bench this week, John Alec?
I'm clearing off the bench. I'm trying to get. I'm getting a lot of builds done and off the bench, so I can.
I've got this right next to my bench. This is the next one.
I just finished that. It's such an enjoyable kit. You're really going to like it, Moss. And I think Alex, you picked up one as well, right?
Yeah, I got an extra one, and it's I kind of like, should I put it on the shelf or should I actually, put it on the bench? It's like,
well, it'll sell. You can confidently let people know, hey, this is a fantastic kit. So yeah, good
it's so well molded, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's absolutely phenomenal. But before I build it, I'm going to do an inbox review on it anyway. That's on my list. So I'm going to get back to getting back to the bench. I've had a bit of about 3 weeks off, I think. Trying times and everything. So I've my mind's been other places. I haven't done an article for me Substack. But yeah, so this week is definitely tidy this all up. I've had so much sent to me as well. I've had HobbyZone Poland send me their new walk around tool chest that I've got to build. So so I've got to review that at some point. Anyways, go to the questions, shall we? So we'll start off with taggers. Umbro 3D printer unboxing and first look. Full review coming soon. It's been 475 days. Will this or Exeter silverware come first? What would you like me to say? I done a print run of a peg. I'll be honest with you. Humbrol refunded me the money and said to me that I would be a kind of guinea pig. So they would send me stuff to print. After I got it working on my Mac, I've not heard a bean since. I personally do not know how to design file or design bits for STL, not STI, STL files. God, did I drop a bollock for that one the other week? So they were going to send me things to print off and they never did. So if you want it, you can have it for 90 quid. It makes a great device if you want to be over your bench putting decals on. You can put a plane on it, put your decals on. But yeah, has anybody else, by the way, got a Humbrol 3D printer?
No.
So there you go. That's all the review you need. Okay. Right, just going down through. We've got quite a few in tonight. Gremlin modeling Mayhem Gary. I'm in London, Brian. Oh, I see. You've changed your name. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, scrolling down to the questions. Got that one. Next question. There was a good one before. Where is it? Scrolling down. Here you go. Fenris Models. Question: have any of you used any resins for water effect, especially specifically Vallejo still water? Anyone? Sonny, as you've used water effects, haven't you, on some of your dioramas?
No.
You
always ask me. You always say, "Oh, you say so," but no. No, I've used it. I think I've used PVA glue before, but it's not really good.
No.
Yeah. I have used 2-part epoxy resins.
Yeah.
And there are some. I've never used Vallejo. I have used some of the deluxe materials do some specific water effects. So they actually do. So you can use most 2-part resins for creating water, right? So it doesn't have. You can buy them from Amazon. You know, the cheap 2-part clear epoxies will work absolutely fine. You can add pigments in, add whatever. For creating wave effects on top, that's where you want something like the Deluxe Materials water effects, because you can kind of create your little wave effects with a brush. Just brush it on and create your waves and any frothing or whatever you want, and then it dries clear and just creates that texture on the top of the water where you want it. So, but I've never used Vallejo.
No. Dulux Materials seems to be the one to go to if you talk to people in England specifically. Dulux Materials is the one, and they do 2 types, don't they? They do one.
They do several, yeah.
Yeah, they because originally they were for railway enthusiasts, weren't they? If I'm correct,
railway enthusiasts.
Yeah, and then it's kind of stemmed on, but like us, I think we were so fixated on just building the model that dioramas came after the fact, whereas railway modelers basically buy the kits, buy the trains already built, and then build the dioramas around the track. If you see what I mean.
It's actually a good shout, actually, Moss. If you're looking at doing dioramas and effects and stuff, go to your local library or secondhand shop and look up some railway modeling books or some landscape, railway landscape effects things. There's tons of stuff there, and having books I think is always good. If you're doing dioramas and stuff, because you don't have to have a computer there when you've got, you're dealing with static graphs and stuff, which you'll get on your keyboard and all that kind of thing. So, and secondhand books, usually pretty cheap. So it's a cost-effective way of doing it as well. Because the railway modeling guys have been doing this for donkey's years before us.
They have, if you want to get, railway modeling books are very good for tips and tricks. Good shout, that one. Right, so Rochford has said, where do you see the big model companies going in the next few years? Any specific direction? Big changes ahead or similar changes to what we've recently seen? That's a good question. I think that the status quo will remain the same. You're going to have Revell trying to up their game, Airfix up their game, and Tamiya up there. To be fair, I don't know of any difference in, like I was saying last week. I can't see. We haven't changed the plastic in 50 years. It's basically the same, isn't it? They changed the. Sometimes the plastic's hard and soft and vice versa, but there's no actual, I don't see anything coming through. I know that in the last 10 years, what we would see detail-wise in a 1/32nd scale plane, you now see in a 1/48, and in 1/48 you see that detail in a 1/72, but whether there's going to be another leap, I don't know. I'll put it to the panel. Any thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, I think you're broadly right, Moss. I mean, technology-wise, the only big change in the last 25 years in terms of production has really been slide molding, electrospark welding for the creation of the tools. But it's expensive, the slide mold stuff. So some companies use it where they need to. The big change has really been CAD. So I think that has enabled, and I think that's probably the biggest change, right? Is you've got companies like ICM, like MiniArt, like a lot of the, it's a lot of the old Eastern European countries like Poland, Czech Republic, Ukraine and stuff, are able to design, as good a quality model as anybody in CAD. And then if they can get that to production, then they can start to compete. And you see that with, Tacom and Meng and, the Chinese companies, as I say, MiniArt, ICM, etc. So I think some of the bigger changes are likely geopolitical. So if you think Zvezda are doing, have been doing some really good stuff, but they, at the moment, are in a pariah state. So until the Russian-Ukrainian war ends, that puts a stress as well on the Ukrainian manufacturers. We've already seen Mini Art move their production to Poland. It's put pressure on the cost of living for everybody, which has made things more expensive. So hopefully we can get back to, a time where everybody's friends again and not trying to kill each other. The global economy stabilizes a bit, and then we can see this come out a bit more. But the only threat, I think, of all of those is Revell, maybe. I think they need to do some decent stuff in the next couple of years, because otherwise I think they're falling into the sort of mold of just doing old stuff. They're really good at some things. They're really good at marketing. If you've looked at their recent instruction booklets, they're really nice. The boxes look good, but they still use those crap end opening boxes, which aren't good for a number of reasons. They still produce old crap and don't tell you that it's old crap. I can see them being a risk if those smaller companies really step up their game. They could really put some pressure on the bigger companies, I think.
Yeah. Good shout, that. Good shout. I hope that answers your question. Gary T's asked, which is a good one, are those cheap electric drink mixers okay for mixing Tamiya 10 milliliter pots, or will it just spread around the room? I think you're talking about these. I've got two types. I've got the Badger one somewhere. There you go. That's the Badger company one. That's the mixer. And this one is the Master Tools Trumpeter one.
Yeah.
This one's a lot faster than this one, but that could be because the battery's died. I use this one more just because look how long the stem is. This one's a lot more easier to use than that one. But they both got the same star head on the end. I use them all the time. That's a lie. For Tamiya, I use them. With Outlaw Paints, I just give them the Portsmouth Shuffle, That's what I tend to do with the Outlaw ones, because it doesn't take a lot to get them to mix. But yeah, reasonable price. I think £20 or £15, £20 each. Don't you get the ones that are used for milkshakes and stuff, because that's got like a sprung top. You want the flat ends on. They're worth their value. But ultimately, if you don't want to do that, glass ball bearings are quite good. Glass bearings are quite good. Glass balls.
Yeah.
Or if you want to put, I know them. They tend, if you've got like dropper bottles and they end up, you got the balls, they end up, getting to the bottom and the paint won't come out. So Phil Flory recommends using little washers, but you have to use marine grade washers because they'll rust. They'll react with the liquid inside. They'll rust. So you need marine grade. Anyone any takers on that?
I use the glass ball bearings because they work in anything. So that stirrer won't work in a dropper bottle. A glass, and they cost virtually nothing, right? Go on Amazon, you can buy like 1,000 of them if you need them. Put a couple in each. I use a couple because one can get stuck and two just gives a bit more turbulence.
Yeah,
then you have no problem. But like Outlaw Paints, it's just a quick shake. You don't need them.
Yeah.
Chris Peacock,
ball bearings.
Yeah, you use ball bearings. Yeah. The trouble with the ball bearings though is that, if that's the other thing. If you've got glass bottles, you don't, you go a bit more careful because you end up breaking the glass. But all the plastic ones, like your Mig Ammos and your Vallejo bottles, they're all in plastic, so that'd be fine. What does the panel use as their go-to metallizer paint, such as chrome and aluminium? Go on, John Alec. You've done quite a bit of chrome, haven't you? What do you use?
Right now, my favorite is the AK Extreme. I absolutely love it. I love alclad paints. They're expensive for the pigment that you get. You can let them settle, and it's like 90% thinner or whatever. I like alclad paints the way they spray. Mr. Color paints, I like. I thin them before I spray them. But that AK Extreme, I haven't tried the Vallejo. Maybe James has, but I haven't tried the Vallejo. But I'm just really happy. So I've been, as I run out, I've been replacing them with the AK Extreme.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
the Vallejo metal color are very good, but you do have to watch them. That obviously they haven't been flown over them in a cold. They've got cold because then they never dry. But I tend to use Tamiya LPs.
Oh, those are also very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. I've got several.
The other thing about the Vallejo metal color paints is I believe they recently changed the formula, and the new ones aren't as good as the old ones, which is a shame. I mean, I think it depends what you're using them for. So I use all kinds of stuff, everything from like literally car paint, rattle can car paint. If I want to do an overall, like with the Spitfire, the 124 Spitfire, I actually sprayed the entire thing in aluminium before actually painting it because I knew I could then chip it. If I'm just using like chipping and want to do aluminium stuff, actually Tamiya acrylic works quite well because it's very flat. If you want high gloss stuff, metal color, like you say, the lacquer paints. If I'm doing chrome, like for oleo struts, I'll use the Molotow chrome pens, which are fantastic.
Yeah, they are very good. I got them, and also the Posca pen ones as well. They're very good. There's 3 or 4, 3 or 4 different brands. I think I've got like a company from China. I think Sully got the same company, got in contact with them because you sprayed the chrome inside, didn't you? On that pen, you put it over and used the paint inside.
It's all right, but the problem is I don't think it really properly dries or anything. So if you touch it, it just scuffs up and marks, and it's But then again, like I said, if I'd done it with the Molotow, it might have been better. So I may eventually try it. I think with that one.
Julian By, question. Sorry, what is the purpose of an inbox review? It seems a little like lazy content. Apologies if my question seems a little contentious, but I'm trying to understand what they are for. I do inbox reviews. The reason I do it is because they get views. I have on many a time thought about building a kit, gone onto YouTube to see what you get inside the box. In particular, the decals. People like to see the quality of the decals. I do add to my inbox reviews. I add history, releases, etc. If they've been released before, and also there's a lot of rarity in kits. There's certain in price. When they were released and stuff. So people like to see what they'll be getting inside the box. That's it, but they do get views, and one thing you'll find from us scale modelers who do YouTube is that if something works, we'll keep on doing it. And we've done it. I've put up releases. I put up a poll once, and I said, "What would you like me to do next? Inbox review of such and such. Build this. Talk about glue." Done that, and I think about 60% of the vote said unbox and review this kit. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's lazy because I promise you this much: whatever we do on a YouTube film that we do, a video or anything we do on YouTube, a lot of effort goes into the filming of it, getting it right, the editing, the research. I wouldn't class it as lazy content at all.
No.
It's easier content.
It's easier content.
It's easier, but not. Yeah.
It's easier than building a kit, but I mean, what you
There's still
see
a lot of work to go
unboxing on YouTube. So my average unboxing video is probably about 20 minutes, right? So that actually involves about 35 minutes of filming because you cut out a lot and you'll do double takes and stuff. Writing the script for it, going through, because there'll be certain bits that I want to show that I've noticed in the kit that I think other people will want to know. So you've got to go through and write all the script after you've edited it out. That's probably the hardest bit. That takes hours, literally hours, to write a 20-minute script. It's unreal. You wouldn't believe it. It's more than a day's, like a solid 8-hour day's work to do an unboxing video. At least for me. Maybe I'm just very slow. But I can't just crack out a video like that. So it's certainly not lazy content. If you want to do it for the, to your own standards, whatever standards those are, like say Moss does, additional stuff with it. But it's exactly for that, right? It's like when I'm looking at what I want to buy in something, I want to see somebody that I know or trust, or a volume of different people, if I don't have either of those, talk about the product, right? To see whether it's something. Now, this is very niche. We're all modelers. All the YouTubers that you see here are all modelers first. So we all have a passion for it. We understand the subject. So we are, in that sense, subject matter experts. So if we look at a kit and it's just like, okay, we're going to look out for how easy it looks to build, how clear the instructions are, what the paint references are, and all that stuff. So that's what you're getting from it is, okay, I know when I get this kit, what I'm going to expect. So is it going to be an easy build? Is it going to be a bit rough? I'm going to have to do a lot of cleanup work. There's no paint references, so I'm going to have to do a lot of research. It's all of that.
You may think it's like I said, I do mine on the fly. So what I do is that I actually film. I don't write a script per se, but I will open up the box, explain, so I do the unboxing first, and everything else is filmed after, and then I will stop the video to double check something, then start filming. But it's that editing stage that gets me, because when I edit, I do add fancy stuff. So you will see that I'll be talking on a bit, but then carrying on the talk when you see my face, and vice versa. And it's all editing tricks, but it does take time to marry up what you're saying and what's being shown on the actual screen. But yeah, it's and like I said, we do it because we get a lot of views from doing it. But I hope that answers your question, Julian. I really do. And that's from all of us here, because I think we've all done unboxings. I know John Parker's done many unboxings.
Can I add a couple of things as well? Because
of course you can, mate. Just jump in any time.
It's talking about the use and purpose of inbox reviews. I think there are 3 major reasons why people view inbox reviews. They want to know what's in the box, as Alex said. They want to know whether it's value for money, and they want to know whether the kit's for them. And an inbox review will answer all those questions.
Exactly. I often get comments on unboxing reviews of just like, looks, I've gone and put one in my inbox, at whatever, my local model store or whatever, after seeing this. Or the opposite is just like, wow, that looks way too much for me where I am at the moment on my modeling journey. So it's just like, they haven't wasted 30 or 40 pounds or whatever it is getting a kit and opening and thinking, oh Jesus, I can't do this at the moment, maybe in 6 months. So or opening a box and finding there's only like 40 parts in it. And they spent £25 on it, and when you look at an inbox review, you can see, well, that's terrible value for money. I'm not buying that. I'll go for some other company. But as to the actual making of the videos, I tend to use bullet points. And when I do the inbox review, you're seeing it as I open the box.
It also helps to check if you're getting the right
reaction.
It also helps if you're getting the right particular version that you want to do of that particular subject as well, and making sure it's got the right, because sometimes you can look at a model that you've seen online somewhere, and there's a particular one because it's got particular parts, or like maybe if you've got like a particular brass etch part or resin part upgrade with it, or whatever, and just making sure, because like I've looked at kits before, and there's a particular thing I want in that kit for that kit, sorry, I should say, and then I've looked at a couple of videos, right? Okay, well, that version is not the one I want because it hasn't got that specific thing in it. And then I've looked at another one, right, that's the one I want. So I know, even if it's just looking at the box art, when I go through eBay or something, if I can find the right box art, or if somebody, like, because a lot of people, like Nigel, for instance, always gives you every single part number going on the box. which obviously is massively helpful because you can get, like it says, you can get the exact kit that you're after.
Yeah.
Or like Alex is, like saying that, they've done a review of a kit and going, oh yeah, I like that one. That's I could do, that's manageable. And I know which particular kit that is now, and I can just go out and buy it and not worry that I'm getting the wrong thing. Because you've seen it, you've got the part codes, you've got the box art, you know exactly what's going to turn up at the door when you've ordered it.
I think the other thing,
and
is
I've done that. Sorry, I've done that. I've gone on looking for stuff because I have done a couple of inbox reviews. I don't do them because, to be fair, they don't do particularly well for me, so I just don't bother doing them. I generally don't watch them, but if there's something in again, like I'm after something or a particular one, then I will. And I'll watch it, and then okay, right, like I says, that's the one I want, or no, that's not quite the right thing, or blah blah blah. Or even because I know some of the guys have gone a little bit further and go, look, you can also get the upgrade kits that go with this particular kit.
Yeah.
Or even just done an inbox review of the upgrade kit for that particular kit, even though the box review's not for that particular kit, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of the little add-on there, so you know exactly kind of like what you're getting without, taking a bit like the old days where you take a bit of a punt on the front of the box and then going, oh, I can't do this, it's not the right thing, or etc. etc.
The other thing is with inbox reviews is it's a lot like, they've kind of taken the place of model magazines, right? Which, some of them are still around, but not in the sort of circulation that it used to be. And there is, when I used to buy model magazines, I would buy all of the model magazines because I knew that like certain ones had certain biases. And it's the same with YouTube, right? And it's like we all have our own personal views and kind of outlook. It's like I watched Moss's Rotterdam or Rotterdam, chastised for my pronunciation of that recently, review. And, Moss will mention things that I just wouldn't even think of, and we all have a
vice versa.
So it's like they aren't exclusive. So if I do a Rotterdam review and Moss does and John does and John Alec does, you can watch all of them and you'll get different things from each one of them. So I think they do get better views because of that, because it's, you might think, well, I know Moss is a big Airfix guy. What about, John Parker? Because he's got the history of Airfix and really knows that. I'll see what he says as well, So I just think they're good information. I do watch them myself on particular things that I'm looking for, and you can get different things from different people.
Yeah, but also they get there's a lot of them who do an inbox review and then do the build straight after. I personally, like I said, the worst thing about doing videos on YouTube, especially when you're building the kit. For instance, you see me. I've done the. I'm almost there now with the Lamborghini from Poker. And there's 24 hours of content already out there. You imagine when you've got 24 hours of content and you want to put it down to a build. That's a lot of editing. And there's been times when I've had. I think it was for the Concorde. It wasn't. It was for the Ferret Scout. I had 16 hours of footage. All right, there's a lot of it which is just blank, where I've gone over and waited for stuff to dry and then come back to it and done it. But you're still editing that out, and so you can spend nearly 2 days just editing that video down. So, and I said, I've done big build, beautiful builds. I thought put it on the channel, and I've got 1,000 views, and I've done an inbox review. So I think it was the JS3 tank Airfix Vintage Classic that I built. I did the inbox review. It's got 14,000 views, I think it is, but the actual build itself only got 2. So we film what you want, So, but
it's funny what you say there about that, because certain inbox reviews of certain kits don't hardly get any attention at all, but certain subjects they go bananas. It's not unusual. I've looked back at some of my histories for some of the inbox reviews to have 2,000 or 3,000 views for a particular kit, and 26 for one. It's just,
and we can't predict it because otherwise we don't do the ones that have big ones.
Julian Byes just said, panel, thanks for your answering. There are things I hadn't thought about in your answers. Much appreciated. Well, that's it. Just ask us anything. We are scale modelers, but we're YouTubers as well. So if you've got any questions about YouTube, quickly go. I will just say,
can I just also add for that as well, Ross, is that on the inbox reviews that I do, I also do a part of it where you can see what other companies have repopped the same kit.
Yeah.
So if you can't get the original, you can often get it as a repop of Revell or like what Matchbox kits are repops.
That's a good idea, John. We should all do that.
Hans just said, hi all. Am I in the right stream with the multiple and am I responding, not in the main? Basically we use StreamYards, and the idea of Airfix and Chill was that I was able to open this up so that it is actually simultaneously being cast on other people's channels. I think tonight we've got it on Man's Mono Moments and on To Boldly Goes. But the idea is that, Airfix and Chill, even though it's predominantly on my channel, the idea was to get it to share so that we all get our watch hours up and etc., and that other people can get involved, and that's part of it. Airfix and Chill isn't really me; it's a group effort of us, and that's why we come on a Monday night and just chat about scale modeling. So, and that's it.
And we also each have slightly different audiences. There's a common hardcore of you all that watches all, but it's a Venn diagram.
But whatever channel you comment on or on the chat box, I see it in as a group on here, so I can pull things up that I can see. So when people put this, I said, if you ask a question, put the word question in the beginning so I can see them. What I do, I star them, then I go to the starred ones and we go through the questions. But please stay on the channel that you're on. You will, there's a lot going on. So but that's basically it. I can see everybody's comments from each and every channel, and I have where your logo comes up of your channel is a little link, so it means that it's being linked in from another channel. So I do see it, but no worries. I could add that actually if I say, we've got a question here from somebody's channel. So so Ben's got a good question here. How about using gloss paint instead of matte for the first coat? Then there's no need to clear coat for decal application. Good evening, by the way. Go on then, Sully. What's your take on that?
I suppose so, but gloss.
Can I just put one in, Moss, before?
Yeah.
Because I have direct experience of this. So I am old enough, as a few of us are here, to have started off with enamel paints. Okay, and some of you may know Hannants do their own range of paints called, I think it's Extra Color. They did an entire range of World War II and military stuff, and they were all gloss for exactly that reason. And it works really well. They take forever to dry. That's the main disadvantage. You could do it with other types of gloss, but it just hasn't really caught on. I guess the development of cheap acrylics and then gloss clear coats kind of meant that you didn't need to anymore.
I'm on the side of LPJ models. I very rarely put down a gloss. I think the decal solutions or decal solutions. We are, we're multilingual here, okay? So decal or decal, depending on your preference.
Just wrong.
I just put it down and use the solution, and they go down flat. Because I put that matte coat on the top. I very rarely get silver in or any issues like that. But that's just me. And LPJ Models agrees with me on that one. He doesn't put a gloss down, does he, anymore? He just goes straight on the matte. I think the paints now, we'll have to get LPJ Models on, because he is, when it comes to art, being an artist and knowing about how pigments and and all the chemicals involved are, he will explain how. And I think pigments now are better, so you wouldn't get a lot of silver in. I've seen an example, and I think it was Jonathan Mock from the Interested Modeling Company, and he was explaining about why you put down a gloss coat on top of your paint before you put your decal down. And he basically had a bit of sandpaper, and he had a plunger, and he put the plunger on the sandpaper, and then the plunger just came off. He said that's what's happening. That the decal doesn't go down flat. But if you put a piece of glass on top of that sandpaper and then put the plunger in, you get like a smoother surface. But I don't know. I personally haven't glossed a model in 18 months. And only because I think LPJ Models put it in our Discord that he doesn't do it. So I've not done it since.
Well, there's two parts to it, Moss. There's the one is the pigments now, because if you think we're getting a lot of paint companies like Vallejo, AK, etc., and they grind their pigments, and they're really small, right? Especially if they're for airbrushing, right? You don't want big chunks of stuff. So the surfaces you get tend to be smoother, even if they're matte. The other thing is decals are better. You look at a 1960s, 1970s, 1980s kit, the decals, even if they're in pristine condition, and yes, they'll degrade over time and stuff, but even if you got them at the time, they just weren't as good. So decal technology has come on a lot as well. So I think it's those two parts together. I think a lot of us still gloss coat because we do other things, right? We're doing multiple layers, we're doing washes, then we want to seal it in, and we want a different type of stuff, and there's all that. So, plus you get used to a particular workflow.
Yeah, and also, the paints we're using now are hot. Aren't they? So, it is. But like Alt 92 just said here, decals need a smooth surface, so a polished paint job, even if it's with matte paint, should work. A gloss coat is just an easy shortcut to get there, which is a fair shout. So, it depends on the quality of your paint, quality of your spray job. And I think I said, gone are the days where we are using hairy sticks because we didn't use airbrushes.
When I used to do Vallejo paints, model air paints, I never used to gloss coat them.
You said that before.
And the decals would sit down.
Yeah.
I only used to put a sealing coat over the top.
And I think, there's science behind my decal silver. It's just the light getting underneath.
It's trapped air.
Trapped air, And I said even I'm going to say it now. I think the Humbrol decal fix is pretty good anyway. But as I said, I'm a stick in the mud because I use Microset and Microsol, and even Alex will tell you it's bollocks. Okay, it's just use one. You don't need them both, do you, Alex?
Well, I mean, they both work. It's just they are very expensive for what they are.
Exactly.
Or if you haven't got Microsol, Tamiya X20A.
Yeah.
In an emergency.
In an emergency, but not a lot.
Because Terry found that with his little history. Found it with his Stuka. All the raised detail of the rivets.
You can use a diluted solution of almost any solvent, including Tamiya glue. You put about 2% diluted will do it, because it's the solvent which is softening the decal.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what you're doing, you can ruin things, so just be careful.
Yeah.
Alex Smith has asked, can I ask what spray booths you recommend, as I'm looking to get one? Thanks. Mine is homemade. I bought an extractor fan, which is used in... they used to put them, it's basically the black box with it, and I just changed the filter with foam sort of sponge from which you can use in a fish tank. That's what I use. But I had mine built, made out of MDF. It is big and bulky, and it's because it's so I can't move it around. It's like it's stuck on a table there. But it's the big filter inside, and also I spray on my bench. But that thing is so powerful, it does the job. That's what it's there for. It just sucks out, and because it's I've got a fireplace behind there, believe it or not. So it goes up through the fireplace basically. That's what I've got. I would recommend, if I didn't have that, or I was thinking of spending a bit of money, Nigel's modelling bench has just had a Badger one. I think he's got, if I'm right.
No, it's a
Not a Badger.
Bart Sharp.
Bart Sharp.
Yeah.
So if you go onto his channel and look at Bart Sharp, and I think he's got a discount code on there.
Yeah.
That's one that I would recommend. But these guys, I don't know what you use. Alex.
I'll echo it because I've got that. I got that one off his recommendation.
Yeah.
And it is the dogs.
It's the dogs, isn't it? It's not water,
It's really,
is it?
really
Oh,
good.
yeah.
No. Plastic Alchemist. No, is he? Plastic Alchemist was on about getting that one. I don't know if he did in the end. I forgot off the top of my head. But I got mine's the one. Well, the one mine and Nigel's got. I think it's the one below that one. But yeah, it's fantastic. It just takes it straight out. You've got it's got a light inside of it. And the fan are both dimmable, so you can have a full-on blast out of extract or just a low one to take it out. But it's
how much
it's
is
the
that?
best thing I did. I want to. Do you know what? I can't remember off the top.
I want to say 120 quid. I want to say
I think it's
120
more. I think it's
quid.
more than that. Give me 2 minutes, so I'll get back to you.
Yeah, get on
Avoid
Nigel's. Yeah, if somebody could link Nigel's video in the chat. Be free to.
Well, I've got basically 2 of them.
Have you?
Wow.
I've got an old cheapest chips one I got off eBay. It looks like a Bart Sharp one. And I've got a bench vent in my workshop. And bench vent.
What I want to do is get the fat, because I say what I do is when I've got that going, that to make this is quite it's an industrial one. I got it, they're about 400-500 quid in the day, and I got it for 60 quid off Facebook Marketplace. I couldn't believe it. I was on Facebook Marketplace one day. I wasn't even looking for it, but I've seen them, in spray, but I used to spray tractors up. One of my jobs was spraying tractors up. And there was one there, and I said 60 quid. Yeah, it's me father was an artist and used it for enamels and stuff. I went, I'll come around, and I drove straight there, 50 miles away it was, went straight there that night, boom. Got there about 10 o'clock at night, give her the money, came home. Yeah, it was a bargain. But they make it, but it's a different man. It's still made, this one, but it's made by a different company now. So, but yeah, they are. If somebody could link that one, and I think Nigel
I've found it. I'm putting the link in there. That's directly off their website.
Yeah,
100. Call it 186 quid by a penny.
Yeah.
How much was it? Sorry, 186 quid.
Yeah. I'll put the link from their website onto the chat there. I think I actually got mine. No, I got it directly from them, and they come quick.
Yeah,
within a couple of days. With it, because I had to wait. Well, I had to wait for it to come back in stock, but when it was in stock, it didn't take all that long because I was
going to say there's a version on Amazon that doesn't come with the LED lights.
So I'd recommend getting it with the lights, to be honest.
Get the one with the lights in,
yeah. Personally, that's me. That's why I got it. But but it's definitely one of the best things. It's only because I had a bit of spare cash to get that. Otherwise, I was using a bathroom extractor fan for mine originally.
I opened the door. No, literally.
If you're using Mr. Leveling Thinner, you need a bit more than just opening the door.
I'd say when you're in the model shed, which is my garage, then I'm sitting right next to it, so it's fine.
Got Fuels Model Car Garage. Alex, man, I've only got a minute. I headed to bed. We need a better contact than email. All right.
Righty ho.
Yeah. Right, going back to the questions, I've got 10 in the queue, all right, so I am going through them. So if you have asked a question, it means that you've got to stay on to watch the answer. That's the only thing, all right? Yeah. So Alex, hope that answers your question. Right. So Paul Wilson, how do you guys clean up metal landing gear? Is it the same process as cleaning up plastic? I'm presuming you're talking about the cast lead stuff or the cast enamel stuff?
I use the back of a knife.
Back of a knife is the one, isn't
I
it?
use the back of my knife here because if it's soft enough, I mean, I've used brass undercarriage and white metal. Obviously, the white metal is a lot softer, so back of the knife is fine. The brass stuff you can, but it takes a bit because it's a lot harder. I think I did when I did have to take a bit of a top grinder tool to it, and some metal files to get it out completely. But if it's white metal, back of your knife will do because they're really soft.
Works for plastic as well. That's when I'm cleaning up plastic. I use the back of my knife, not the blade. Yeah.
There's some good questions coming through. I want to try and catch up with them. So we're going to. I understand we're talking, but yeah, we were. So there you go, Paul. Question from Phil. I'm hoping to build my ICM 1/32 scale Gladiator soon. What do the panel use recommend for the rigging?
Well, I know what I use.
I use this Easy Line Fine.
Yeah.
Easy Line.
Yeah.
I think these are basically the same thing, to be fair. Is it elastic, John?
Yeah.
Is it elastic?
This is a 1/32. That's what I'm using.
Yeah.
If it's elastic, it's probably the same stuff, to be fair.
It's elastic.
But if you get anything, as long as it's an elasticated line, that's what you want. Because if you knock it at any point, it won't. It shouldn't really break off because it would obviously it's elastic. Do you know what I mean? But if you use a hard, something like because I used to use nylon thread.
Yeah.
Which is cool. It's fine. But if you catch that, it snaps off, and you've got to try and do it all over again.
The thing about the Easy Line and the ammo stuff is that sometimes people use this other stuff, and if you're not careful, over time it reacts to the actual super glue. And there's one of them that it's not the super glue itself. It's because I use an accelerator. I use Bob Smith Industries Instaset. This one here. So I put it on, and Celtic West taught me a brilliant trick was dab the glue on the part you need, and then spray this on the line, and then as you put it through, then touch it, it instantly sets it. It was 2 seconds set basically, boom. So that's what I do. I spray that on the rigging, and then put it along, little dab of super glue, and I'm become quite fond of the brushable super glue now, not the stuff out of a pot. I actually use a brush, and it's really good. So I've got some here somewhere. Here you go. Loctite super glue brush. That's my new go-to. So it comes in. It's got a brush in it as well. That's my new go-to. That is. Because you see that I've pulled one little hair out using a pair of tweezers and bent it. And I just use that tiny thing, and that's it. Brushable is. I used it since I did that Lamborghini. Good stuff. So, I've been now to 2 scale model shows now, and I've not seen Easy Line for sale there. So I may have to get in contact with you, John, to get me some and send it over from America. Because it's American anyway, isn't it? Easy Line. It's an American.
Yeah, I think it is.
So if me and John will have a little chat later, all right, about that, because I need some more.
You can use.
I use a bit of a cheat because I use expanded sprue.
And
then
you try to get it that thin, though, mate.
Yeah.
Do you really get it that thin? You must be an art to it. Then
you just set fire under a match and just put it wide out, as wide before it breaks. And then you just chop it up to the size you want, glue it to each individual interplane strut and wing strut. There you go. And it'll
just doable, but it's a pain in the arse.
It'll hold, it is a pain in the arse, but
the thing about the elastic, you don't have to do that. You just pull it to its tight and bang,
But it'll hold paint, no issue.
Yeah, I get that. I do get that. Fair play.
Mind you, with the line, I don't even bother painting the line, to be honest with you, because I don't think it needs it. You can also use it. Is it Ocean? It's Vanden Rossen.
Ushi Van der Rosten or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Yeah, that's the same stuff. Right.
There are also like elasticated lines that are used for haberdashery stuff. which you can
Yeah.
use as well if you can get thin enough stuff. But it is usually clear, transparent. So,
Yeah.
but it's a lot cheaper. So
Or
pays your money and takes your
use
choice.
what Captain VSC uses. Use guitar string.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's not. Yeah, you have to paint that though, don't you? Because it won't be black,
Yeah.
will it? Yeah.
Well, some rigging is silver.
Question: what popular aircraft have you never built? For example, I've never built an F-14 or an F-16.
The same.
There's loads, isn't
Yeah.
there? I've never built a Messerschmitt 262.
Oh, get out.
I know. It's shocking.
VF110.
You
Phantom, an F4 Phantom.
Yeah. I built one of these cats.
I tell you what, though, it's not the planes I've not built; it's tanks I've not built. You know what I mean? I think it depends. What you're into. I know somebody that's built every tank going. Never built a plane. I've got people who just build ships, friends who just build ships. But that's a big question. I'm just trying to think of some. I've never done it. I've still got that. I've never done the 1/72 scale. I've never done a Yak 1B. I've got one there from Armour Hobby to build. I've never built one, but they're popular as well, aren't they? The Yaks. So
I've got an F14. I've got an F14 too, which I've very nicely got from Alex, a man's model.
Yeah.
When I bother to pop in, you know what I mean.
By the way, Alex, when you're going to put your Outlaw Paints online, mate, is that a big job? Is it or?
It's a big job, and there's still some things to be gone through.
Fair enough, my friend. Fair enough. Let's have a chat sometime.
I've never built a Liberator.
Have I just?
No, I haven't.
It's the Lord Bodford one. Is the Humbro Gen 2 paint any good? I can get it local to me. I think it is.
I'll tell you the best. But watch Matt for Model Minutes. I think he does a good review on them. To be fair, but I think
I'm going to say, go on.
Personally, I think sometimes it does come down to a little bit of preference.
Yeah.
I do not like Humboldt paints in the slightest, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But like I says, we've all got do you know what I mean? We've all got our preferences on what paint we'd rather use, and it's what I suppose what you get used to.
I'm going to be honest. If I'm doing brushing with the hairy stick, I find them okay. My issue with them is inconsistency in their consistency.
Yeah.
That's the only way to say it. I remember being at the Airfix day and I ripped into them. I said, and I kind of feel bad about it now, but had a lot of people tap me on the back and say, you said right. I think they should dump the Humble brand. I think Humble should just get stuffed. The problem is that they're trying to make Humble not just for scale modeling. They say, they want to, people use it in the arts and crafts, which I get. That's why they do the big enamel tins now. I get that. But I think they should dump it and rebrand as Airfix. Because if you look at the major manufacturers, all have their own paint.
Yeah, but Humboldt goes beyond. I mean, it's used a lot by the rail modelers, isn't it?
Yeah.
But is it though, mate? Because they can bring out their own brand, their own range of model paint for trains, because they do it already with the Scaledale stuff. That's the issue I have. They have all the
builders use it as well.
Pardon?
Don't the boat builders use it? The wooden builders, they use it as well, don't they?
No. Humble used to do marine paint. I think that's what it was. But and I said, even on the day, the guy who does the Humble side of it said, we've given it to scale modelers and they say it ain't half bad. And I said, that's piss poor. We don't want half bad. We spend intricate hours and we put effort and time in building a model. The last thing we want is to fuck up because of the paint. How many times have you cried? Not because of how well kit goes together. It's when you get a reaction to paint, or the paint goes down, or you're fighting every way to get that paint right. And that's why Tamiya is still a go-to for a lot of people, because it's robust. They haven't changed the formula in years because it's a good paint. Vallejo, hit and miss. And also, I want to ask the question, do you think paint in a plastic pot goes off quicker than paint in a glass pot? I think plastic pots, the paint goes off quicker, or there's issues. There's only, if you've got paint's been around for 5 or 6 years, if it's in a plastic one, it'd probably be buggered. But if it's in a metal tin or it's in a glass, not a problem with it. Just putting it out there. If anyone's got any ideas on that, I think the plastic, there's something that, because of the paint, I reckon it reacts. I don't know. I'm just saying. I think it goes off with plastic.
Well, it's something to do with the air getting trapped in the bottling.
I know that, but yeah.
I know what you mean.
Glass takes a lot to get hot. Where paint in plastic, if it's in the sunlight, you're foobarred, aren't you? Yeah. Do you think you see? I'm just trying to find reasons why paint seems to be crap.
I've only really found personally, the issue in the old. I don't know about the newer ones because I haven't had them, but the old AK paints. I've got quite a few of them which I don't airbrush anymore because there's just always chunks of paint in there. So all my bulk spray paint and everything's all Tamiya.
Yeah.
But I've recently, I'll hopefully get it this week, bought a massive box of Vallejo because I think their paints are fantastic for brush painting.
Yeah.
Some of them are not too. Fun enough, actually, I've usually struggled with Vallejo air stuff, but the black and white spray perfectly. Everything else of theirs I tried, it just gunks up, and I've had to clear out and everything. It's weird. It's weird one that is, but
yeah. I mean, to address the Humbrol Gen 2 stuff. I mean, that guy from Humbrol telling you that Moss, that we've tried it with scale modelers. That's like some guy from a pharmaceutical company saying, you to a doctor. We've spoken to doctors and they love it. It's just like, no, you can't preach to an expert about what is good in paint, And Humbrol Gen 2 paint is okay. It's just okay. It's like AK Gen 1. It's like some of the dodgier, like older Vallejo stuff. They're playing catch up. But the thing is, other people have moved on. Like the AK Gen 3 stuff is fantastic. It wipes the floor with anything Humbrol will put out. The coverage, the opacity, the ability to brush paint or spray paint. Tamiya stuff always sprays well. You can brush paint it if you know what you're doing.
Brush paint as well.
If it doesn't go off, you've got lacquer paints now from Outlaw, from SMS, from Tamiya. It's just like, you can use them, but is it ideal? No. So this is why I don't have Humbrol acrylics in the shop. I have the enamels because they serve a different purpose completely. Serve a different set of people. And you can use them as well as a modeler for effects and other things, filters. But the acrylics, it's just like, how many Chinese cars are in the market at the moment? Not a lot, because they're okay, but they don't add anything. They're not desirable. They're like a car of the 1990s or 2000s.
Yeah.
It's a similar sort of simile. So
yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head. Then I also don't like it when they call stuff Gen 2 because you're then waiting for Gen 3, then you're waiting for Gen 4. Before you know it, you're like,
get it right.
Yeah, you just want it right. You want it right in the first place, not exactly. 30 different lines down the road.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is exactly what I said to him. I said, I think it's really bad marketing. The only people who can get away with it is Apple and Samsung. iPhone 15. Samsung Galaxy A29 or whatever. You know what I mean? And that's the way you got to look at it. I think Gen 2 is a very, very poor marketing strategy, and also it will piss off the
People who
who
bought the
stock
Gen 1.
paint. Yeah, but as I said, you go to a scale model show near you and do the Humble Challenge and try and find a Humble product there. You won't see it. You really won't. So I hope, as I said, I'm not going to deny it. If I'm painting with a brush paint or with a hairy stick, I will use Humble Gen 2. I've got loads of it. You know, I've been given loads, so I will use it. But it's the inconsistency. Going, you know, and like everything, it's what works for you. And you can airbrush it, but I wouldn't use their thinners. If you are, I'm trying to think of the company, which is the one who does the. What's the company called? What's the company that does the thinners?
Like Ultimate?
Ultimate. Use Ultimate because that for some reason, apparently, I know somebody who sprays using this stuff. He says he gets a pretty good finish using Ultimate modeling, whatever it is, to do it. So, right. Okay, so that was answered. Graham Coxon. By the way, good evening, Wayne. Thanks for joining us. Question: do you think model making content on YouTube has had an effect on online forums?
God, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's had an effect on model sales. Definitely.
I mean, if you think about an online forum, it's just like a slower version of this chat tonight, right? You post something, then you go away, and like somebody will come back a few hours later or something. It's very 1990s, 2000s. Everybody's used to video conferencing now. Everybody can go and watch stuff being built in real time. You can watch streams. You can watch recorded material. Online forums. It's like, yeah. I mean, I think some of the groups are good for research and stuff, but I think they've changed the way that forums are used for sure.
I think it's, but also I've noticed that there's more. Yeah, I think forums have their place, and we have our own. We have a Discord that we talk in, and we banter and everything. I am seeing more nastiness coming through the forums as of late. There's a lot more criticism when there shouldn't be. A piece of art is a piece of art.
But it's easier, isn't it, to hide behind a username on a forum than if I started slagging people off here now, you can all just turn around to me and slag me off straight away, and I look like a dick. So people stop watching. So it's very easy to give that immediate feedback.
You don't say that someone does the correct shade of Brunswick green.
Let's don't go down that route.
Now, shall we?
It's a can of worms.
I think that the only criticism I've seen about YouTube is that it elevates. People get afraid to do scale modeling because they see how good some people can get their models.
Yeah.
But you've got to understand that it shouldn't stop you from being a scale model. I use this analogy, okay? I see these models look fantastic. I don't think I'll ever get to that stage. There are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who play football on a Sunday afternoon in their local leagues. Okay, that's their level, and they enjoy it. They enjoy playing football on a Sunday afternoon, and it should be the same for scale modeling. You're going to get, if you think about it, there's 22 teams in the top flight, and let's say they've all got, including academies and everything, they've got all about 100 players on their books each, just on average. That's 2,000 top Premier League players in this country. But as I said, there's 50,000 people who play football on a Sunday afternoon, and they enjoy it because they're at that level. So you've got to look at scale modeling the same. Some of us are going to be Premiership, and some of us are going to be bordering on National League. You know what I mean? And some of us are Sunday afternoon pub league, five-a-side soccer on a Thursday night. But if you enjoy it, what's stopping you from doing it?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But also, what you've got to think is as well is that these people were shit once as well.
Yeah.
Do you know, we were all bad when we started. All of us were bad at one point.
Yeah.
And over time, you just, it's like everything. You do one, you learn the mistakes from that model. Then the next time, you know not to do that time and try something else. And it just evolves and evolves and evolves and it gets on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Also,
So
got to
it's-
remember that some people take 6 months to build a kit that's of that quality.
yeah. Some even bloody longer.
Even
You know,
though
some
Yeah,
have
6
spent
months
years working
that
on
long.
stuff. You know, no. Some have been, 18 months, 2 years, plus. You know, it just
and they might not have got that kit right the first time. They might have had 4 or 5
exactly.
years.
Yeah, that's
It
it.
could be
Yeah.
a 5th generation kit before it
I
reaches
mean,
the
I've
market.
had to repaint a model several times before it's actually looked actually good in the end.
Oh, one of
That's
your
just
recent
enough for
videos,
you, isn't it? Yeah.
Sully.
Well, tell me about it. Yeah, tell me about it. You know, I mean, that was a script using. Do you know what? I did it on this as well. Funnily enough, I'm going to stop using that bloody stuff.
Some people
I
never
think
learn.
it's. Oh no, I don't. That's the problem. Some of us are sadists. But it's just. It's that horrible sort of thing. You just got to get good. It just takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. There are people that could. I mean, I know this is not the same thing, but my brother-in-law, he could pretty much pick up an instrument within 10 minutes. He's got it. There are some people that can pick stuff up, but the majority of these models. I mean, I tell you, the best example. One of the best examples is Night Shift. He showed a model, one of his early. I can't remember what video. It was just going back a bit. One of his early models, and it was a bag of shit. But look at him now. He spent years perfecting, his stuff and his techniques and what. And that's all it is. It's the same with everything.
Yeah. The way I always
there's no
look at
quick
it,
fix really.
yeah, is so YouTube is it's a vehicle, right? It hasn't created anything itself. You know, all the creators, as they are, us, we've been just doing models forever, and now we're putting them on YouTube.
Yeah.
Before that, there are people equally or more talented than all of us doing all of that and displaying the models in model shows. So if you go to model shows, you'll see the same range of skills. So it's exactly the same as that. It's just YouTube now. It's more accessible, so we can see all of that. And there is a huge range out there. You might get the top ones promoted to you because they do well, but that's just the YouTube algorithm. And the other thing is, and the first time I went to the IPMS show in Telford, the big scale model world, what it's called. I saw the quality of stuff there compared to what I was doing, and it blew me away. But it also inspired me. It's just like, because I knew that at one point, like Sully said, they were just like me, and something inspired them, and they went and just like, well, how do I do that? How do I get seatbelts in a 1/72nd scale aircraft? I need to find out how to do that. So I think it's partially incumbent on us. It's one of the things that I wanted to do with my channel is to give, stuff which is achievable and inspire people so that, people can realize that it is a journey. It's not that there are these, modeling gods like Plasmo and Night Shift and everybody, and they can never be approached. It's like, no, you just need to practice and, love what you do.
I'll tell you what.
And if you want to do, you can do it.
I can sort of prove it in actual fashion because I somehow that's my first model.
Excellent.
Right?
Airfix Wellington.
I haven't painted the windscreen because I just didn't.
Yeah.
Fog to shit. I mean, look at that for a bloody step in the bloody top of it. Do you know what I mean? It's
Not bad, Sully.
it's
The greatest sin, Sully, it's not weathered.
I know.
Yeah,
well, this was the point. This is a good point, right? So that was my first one, right? And I'm gonna look a prick now, ain't I? But that's my most recent.
Yeah, the Canet.
Do you know what I mean? And that it just takes.
I prefer the first one, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a bit shit, really, isn't it? But
The interesting thing about that
Ruined.
is that I've seen an awful lot worse than that Wellington on people's videos. But it didn't make any difference because they thoroughly enjoyed building it, and it.
But that's it. That's as well. That's the, But when people are on about skill sets and levels and getting to certain details, it's took me a long time to get to that, and I'm but I even still now I'm like I can do better than that.
Yeah,
it's like he says. It depends on where you're happy at. If you're quite happy, just slap one together, and do whatever. And then you're happy with it. That's the important bit. If it's just whether you want to improve. It's almost like your job. If you want to move up in the world, you have to get better at your job to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
That's just, I'm still I use Plasmo and Night Shift to get they're where I want to get to. So I keep pushing myself to get to that. I don't have to. But I enjoyed that process of learning other skills and doing more. But but then again, I've done some models recently. I'm just quite happy. I've just done real basic things, and I was happy with that. Still looked good. I was happy with it. I enjoyed the process. That's
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's a journey.
there's no. To be fair, there's no real right answer.
It's a hobby.
Do you know what I mean?
No,
That's it.
no.
You enjoy it. The point of doing this is enjoying it.
Yep.
The more you get, because for another example, like people that do it for competitions, they will stress all year to get that model ready for Telford.
Yeah.
I can't see the fun in that. Do you know what I mean? I did one.
Did you remember the guy we had from the IPMS?
Yeah.
Who said that he used to get loads of messages from people asking him why I didn't win. To me, it isn't important that you win. It's important you took part and you enjoyed the process of getting there. That's what's important for me.
Because I did a Harrier for the last model show I was at, and I knew from the day one I'm going to put this in the competition, but I made it the same as every other model. I didn't stress about it, and by the end of it, I was like, "Yeah, do you know what? That's not half bad. I'll bang it in, see what happens." And that one in particular got second place.
Yeah.
I just put it in just to see what happens.
Yeah.
Everything I've put in, I've just banged it in and going, if it places, it places. If it doesn't, so what? I don't worry about it. It's not really, I don't think it's really the point, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, the validation's great. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
but at the same time, why are you stressing yourself out over it? And then, like you says, you get some of them. Well, why don't I win? I've spent all year working on that, and he's only spent 6 months. Well,
Can you? I think some people can get precious, and then again, that's what happens in forums, doesn't it? People get precious about their opinions, their right to reply, and as long as there's no witch hunts, at the end of the day, you shake hands, you move on. And that's where you've got to be. I get my ass in my hand about all sorts of shit. But you know what? 9 times out of 10, if I go to bed and wake up the next morning, I'm like, he's just being a dick. You know what I mean? You move on. It's too short. Life's too short. The Flying Dutchman. Nice to see you, my friend. I just noticed Matt from Model Minutes has turned up. Nice to see you, my friend. If you want to pop on, there's room on the panel if you want to come on. East European companies used to make pretty challenging kits back in the day, whereas they now produce high-end kits and many new releases. Any explanation on how they got in the lead so fast? Bloody hell now. Good question.
It's all to do with available cash.
Yeah, it's just after the Soviet Union dissolved in 1991, and they weren't under the yoke of that regime anymore. Suddenly, people could become entrepreneurial, and like John said, cash came in. People could do new stuff, set companies up.
Yeah,
it's just
You've got to understand why Hungarians, Polish, Romanians come to England to earn money, because their average wage in those countries is nothing like what they can earn here. So companies who produce plastic kits have got far more money available because their labour's cheap. And they can put it in the quality of the product. And that's basically the reason,
Yeah, and if you think the infrastructure, so those companies that started up, if you think of companies like MiniArt and ICM and all of those, they only started up in like the 90s, some of them in the 2000s.
Yeah.
So the infrastructure they're putting in is brand new.
Mm.
So they're starting they'll be designing with CAD from the ground up.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas, I mean, maybe not like some of the older ones like Zvezda and ICM will have switched over, and you'll see that in an ICM kit, like from the late 1990s, early 2000s, like the MiG 29 is like an old Zvezda kit, whereas the new stuff is top notch, and that shows the change in technology. Whereas things like main model, TACOM, all new, CAD
Same
stuff.
in the Far East as well, though, isn't it,
Yep.
Alex? If you look at the Far East,
that's the thing.
it's exactly the same reason.
I'd like to point out one thing. I do find, and I'm just putting it out there, I do get sidetracked by the decisions that a lot of the Eastern Europeans make on what they're going to release next. ICM, phenomenal. Some of the, I've built that boat, absolutely great.
Yeah.
I don't see how many people are going to buy that boat.
No.
I think they would have been better off doing more mainstream models. They seem to be putting out stuff that
I'm going to disagree with you on that boat.
Yeah, I know you are. Yeah, but I'm just putting my point across back before you jump in. But
go on then.
Yeah, like I said, what they should. I think they should go for more mainstream. What was it? They brought out one which is like a Chaplin, vehicle. And I'm thinking, how many people are going to buy that? The only reason I bought that boat was I was challenged by a fellow scale modeler who bought it thinking it was a cheap at 21 quid. 144 scale, by the way. This boat's 144 scale, and I'm not going to lie, I had a blast building it. It was like a bit of a mojo build. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Some bits were so tiny, it's 144. But I think they would have been better off, and I dare I say it, and if they have the opportunity to do a lifeboat that's available, or this is a World War II boat that they converted them into fishing vessels after the war. But I look at it and I think to myself, I only built it because it was a challenge, and I think they could have used their time and effort to do something a bit more mainstream than this. And then Revell are going to release it this year as well. You've got that Chaplin one. Yeah, that's the magazine. Yeah. But I do think, why bother? Why don't do a bit more mainstream and that more people can be related to? I don't suppose there's many people in the UK that are going to be related to building a boat like that. But that's not just ICM. I'm looking at the other ones as well.
Yeah.
Just to use that example specifically, Moss. So ICM, and as you say, Revell are now doing that. How many people in Germany are going to buy that? I think there'll be quite a lot. Whereas, how many Germans are going to buy the Bulldog?
Not many.
So
not necessarily a Douglas Bader fan.
Exactly. Yeah. Schmidt after Douglas Bader. Not sure.
Might be 9.
See, I think a lot of ICM's choices, and a lot of, and this goes beyond that, MiniArt as well.
Yeah, MiniArt. That's the one. MiniArt I was going to say. Yeah, MiniArt. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they do slightly unusual stuff, but that's because it's not already being covered, so it is niche. So that means you kind of got the market, right? It goes to Airfix's strategy as well. They're looking for gaps in the market.
Yeah.
So
at some point, you can only have so many of subject X, Y, and Z, right?
This British Army Chapel thing, that is an existing truck that they have, that then you have 2 extra sprues for the body of that, and the little Hammond organ and stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah. How much was that one though, Alex? Retail?
Not sure. Only just been released. But ICM actually aren't expensive if you actually look at the relative prices. They're kind of
look at the amount of parts you get for in an ICM kit.
Yeah, you get a lot as well.
Yeah, no, I just wonder sometimes. When you see what MiniArt are bringing out, I just think they would have been better putting their eggs into more of established. Because See, my issue with gaps in the market really falls flat with me because I know they've released 12 kits that Airfix released in the 70s.
Yeah.
That they really need to retool now.
Yeah.
One of them's the Concorde, obviously. Just saying. You know, you can go down that spec. And if I was ICM, I would have done a Concorde. Yeah, that was my take on it. You know, I just felt that maybe looking for gaps in the market is all well and good, but the reason there are gaps in the market because there hasn't been a lot of call for those.
Well, I mean, okay, I'm going to use the obvious counter to that argument in that they've been throwing out like 12 to 15 new tools each year, and they seem to be doing pretty well, and they're at war. So the evidence would seem to suggest that they're selling enough.
Is it really that amount? They do 10 to 15 tools a year? ICM?
Yep. On average,
that was 16 this year, wasn't it? 16 new tools this year.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, the likes of Revell and Tamiya never released that many new tools. One or two, I think, and most of them are re-releases of old kits.
Yeah.
And then going on like non-mainstream stuff, like that Atlantis model I got of that UFO. You know, it's the first ever UFO one I've saw, but it was something unique and out of the ordinary, and I thought, well, gotta try it.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I do feel that ICM kits are very, very good, but fit wise and everything, because that's my third ICM kit now I've built. I still think they're on par with Airfix for fit. They're not better than Airfix than fit.
No,
they're just equal to it at the moment.
Equal. They're very equal.
I think though, if you look how, I mean, and this isn't disrespect to Airfix or ICM or anybody. I think once you've got to that kind of level, I mean, the fit on the Gannet is, I would say, pretty much perfect.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You said that as well, didn't you, Sully? You said it was bang on.
The main wings to the body and the tail, I haven't glued them in.
Yeah, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal engineering. You can't really get better than that. I mean, other than the thing building itself, which kind of takes the point out of it, an AI doing it, an AI kit. So I think, when you got ICM kits, I would say mini art, but obviously there's a billion pieces in them. The modern Tamiya kits, when they don't make mistakes, you're looking at fractions of difference between them now. So yeah, how can you get better?
Well, I think the only way they can get better is to improve their quality and consistency of quality, like not getting shorts on your seeking.
Yeah, you won't get that.
You'll never get it 100%. But if they can make it parts per million instead of parts per 1,000, that would be a start.
Or parts per 100.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, if the automotive industry can do it, plastic companies can do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've had 100% failure rate on my last 3 builds from Airfix. They've all had issues. 3 out of 3.
Yeah.
Do mine haven't.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
If you've caught the Flory Models cash, you have then, Alex, because he always.
Yeah, but okay. Yeah. Maybe I have, but the Bond bug, that was everybody.
Yeah.
Rotterdam. Yeah. It's not me. Airfix stands
out.
No,
yeah. I promise you, I totally buy that. I really do. I understand the Rotterdam as well. Yeah, I totally get that. The Bond bug was just shit. It really was.
They just need to get a hold of it because, like John said, the quality is good. They just need to make it consistent.
Consistent. I'm happy to go over to India, but it's. I would, as I said, I've talked to a lot of people. I go to scale model shows and I've seen the Spitfires Mark 24 and the Mark 9 124 scale, and I know that the quality from there is being absolutely superb, made in England. But do you want to pay the premium of having it in England? And that's one of the battles that Airfix will have to have internally.
Yeah,
that's the issue. And also, you know, and I remember going on the day, and Mark from where the Spitfire was, he said to us, he said, all I need for us, if Airfix said to me, I need another 5,000 Spitfires, all I need for them to do is get me the boxes and everything together, and we can bang out 5,000. We just have to put the tooling in it goes, bang. In fact, they could probably get the plastic done ready while they're getting all the boxes and put it all together. They could do. You know, when we were there, you saw the video footage of it. Everything was all pre-bagged, everything. It was all ready to go. All they had to do was boxes.
Although
there is equivalent video in their Indian production facility, Ross.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over. I've got a contact now.
We nominate you for Delhi Belly.
I'll go for Delhi Belly.
Yeah.
While I'm there.
It's a long way to fly, man.
Our man in India.
Yeah, our man in India. I'll go over there and tell him what I think.
You'll have to do a James May piece though while you're there, Moss.
Yeah. I want to say one little thing, right? There's been a lot of talk about, you know, the company, they do Hasbro stuff, and Hasbro never goes wrong. It's different plastic. It's different plastic, and the thing about Hasbro stuff is that they've got to make it there. Whereas when you've got scale model kits, comes off in a bag, in a box, gone. But in that factory, they're actually putting all the stuff together to make the nav gun. So if it doesn't go together, they can just chuck it away and get another part.
Yeah.
So you've probably got 5 eyes looking over that product, whereas at the factory where they're doing the scale model kit, probably 2 at max off the machine, then in the bag, in the box, gone. But where they're actually putting and actually spraying that Hasbro stuff, that Nerf stuff is sprayed as well. They spray it, they color it, and everything. So they've got all those extra checks in place. I would say that, you know.
So with the Hasbro stuff, do they actually manufacture? Do they actually put that end product together and paint it?
That's what I just said. Yeah, that's what they do.
Well, if that's what they're doing, you're going to find all the faults.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. So
it'll show up.
You've got that side of it. So it's nothing to do with it's just Indian. It's nothing that at all. That's a real bad way of looking at it. When you see the stuff that they manufacture, it's all made and manufactured into plastic shop, into the color, you know, put it together, spray it up, sticker it up as well. Yeah, but you've got eyes all the way through.
But that doesn't matter though, Moss. Manufacturing something, putting it together shouldn't make any difference to the QC of the manufacture part.
Yeah, I'm
sure it's more about the fact that the Hasbro orders are like 100 times the size of the Airfix one.
I disagree. I disagree with that. I used to work on a production line years ago, and we used to build seats in the same cars. And when the seat was being built on the production line, if something didn't fit, you put a different part on it. So you never got any issues at the other end, because if it didn't fit,
that's British manufacturing, John.
You had to, but you had to rework. You had to rework it before you sent it.
It's a completely different style of manufacture.
Yeah.
They won't be doing that there.
Plastic modeling, you can't do that,
and then it'll be assembled separately.
Yeah.
And if there's something which is wrong, they'll ditch it and grab another piece.
Yeah.
But the QC of the manufactured pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if they were getting the same failure rate, John, as the Airfix stuff for the Hasbro stuff, they'll be throwing away like 10%.
No, but you're not manufacturing the Airfix kit, are you? By the end of the production line. So things aren't going to show up.
That's what I'm saying.
You know that report's from the manufacturer, from who you're delivering it to.
Yeah, true. So Airfix should be going into that factory in India and sorting them out.
Yeah, but if they're making 1 compared to 100 in terms of volume for Airfix, that what ownership does that company have? It's just like, oh yeah, we'll sort it. Just trust us.
Yeah, I get that.
They won't do anything because Hasbro are paying them millions.
Yeah, I get that.
It's just scale of economy.
Fair enough. Okay, this is quite a funny one because I'm going to tell you a story. Okay, Question: does anybody have a viable excuse for the large olive drab stain that has appeared on the carpet that my wife will accept, or should I just take my bedding to the garage? Well, it happened to me once, and what I did, I got some brown paint, painted over that, and I said, the dog's had a poo, love. I'm really sorry. We're going to have to get the Hoover out and give it a good clean. It worked a treat. She never, and to be fair, it cleaned up because it was acrylic paint. If it was enamel paint, to be honest with you, mate, I would get an air bed as well while you're there and pump that up because you're going to be there a while. Get yourself a mini fridge as well. Put some lagers in it. Take a wire in there for you. Got the Sky as well in the garage as well, mate, and just be there for a few weeks while it all blows over. I recommend tin hats. I would buy her a holiday. Go and say we're going on holiday, love. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Just make sure, obviously, your will and your solicitor's number is on hand. And
he's on hand.
In order.
Yeah.
If it's enamel paint, there is actually a product that you might be able to get out of the carpet with. Fairy spray cleaner.
Right. I've got 10 questions left. We've got half an hour. That's 3 minutes per question. So sorry, folks. I haven't got. If you want to put any more, if we've got time, we'll do it. But we've got 10 starred now. So quickly. Duke Blackford says, question: is acrylic better than enamel? Have used enamel for 50 years.
Depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
For your health,
use acrylic.
Yeah.
No, enamel is going to be a little bit more sturdy than acrylic is, but in this day and age, it's not as big of a difference as it used to be. And to be honest, if you are handling your models in such a way where you're going to be seeing that difference, they're models, they're not toys. Acrylics have come a long way. So yeah, acrylics are definitely.
I would caveat that though, because the question is it better than enamel? It's not better. It's different.
Yeah.
If you've been using enamel for 50 years, don't suddenly chuck them all away and start using acrylic, because they're different. I mean, the main advantage, well, two main advantages of acrylics is they're water soluble, so cleanup and everything is better. They don't smell and all that kind of stuff, and they dry faster. Those are the big ones.
Yeah, agreed. Model kit stuff, sprays with enamel. Go and watch his channel if you want. Enamel hasn't. There will always be a place for enamel.
Yeah,
always be a place for enamel.
I guess the other note is I feel like I've seen less enamels being produced these days comparatively. So
I agree.
Yeah,
it may just become harder to find, but
the only thing is the Miko. So I've heard some people say that the replacement for Miko is slowing down the drying time of enamel even more because of the chemical that's used. But I don't know because I don't use it. All I can say is go to a Facebook group, ask the question there because there will be other people in enamel who will tell you what's good. Right. Tigers have got a good one. With a quarter of 2024 gone, which manufacturers do you think will have the best and worst year in terms of new releases this year?
I think Revell the worst because more of them are just reboxed.
Good shout.
Yeah. They've got a lot of new releases this year. They're all slated for mostly June onwards. Because you've got ones that came from last year that didn't happen as well. So I think they got like 7 new tools.
Zvezda?
They'll have the worst.
Zvezda will have a bad day.
Yeah. I think everybody's like putting their hands up. We're not touching you. Until this all gets resolved. When Trump gets in power in January, then it all gets sorted.
Yeah, unfortunately, the availability of model kits in the post-nuclear apocalypse may be a little bit harder to get them.
Yeah, I think you'd be more concerned of there'll be the final Airfix and chill. Yeah. We're saying goodbye,
with tin
folks.
hats and gas
I
masks.
think Sully will have a field day because the only model subjects will look like some out of Mad Max, won't they?
All right.
Yeah. See, you will take the mick out of me, but I'll be quidsing because I'll have plenty
You
of
will, yeah.
references to work on. You'll be like, I
Yeah.
don't like it, it's too rusty.
I think there's I think if what Airfix have said is there's going to be, I think there's another 5 to come, new releases this year.
There has to be.
I think there's another 5.
I think if there's 5 truly new releases, that's good.
Yeah.
If a couple of those are just vintage classics,
Even if
Yeah,
it is
there'll be a
vintage
vintage classic.
still worth them releasing it.
I think they might do a couple of gift sets. Or a
Wow.
couple of commemorative sets for the big D-Day year this year.
I think Tamiya might actually have the worst.
There's not a lot coming out, is there?
No.
But then again, they've gone down the car market side, haven't they?
And their
Again.
price increases as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another factor with it. But I think Tamiya. Dan Usher, question: if you could have any subject made as a kit, what would it be, and at what scale?
Well, you can answer that for all of us, Musk, can't you?
Of course you can. 24 scale bear.
Full scale Bearcat?
No,
I'm not saying anything.
I'd be yeah, Bearcat's a Bearcat, isn't it?
I'd love to see some like new moldings of new toolings of the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, I would as well.
Particularly Thunderbird 2. But
Yeah, Thunderbird 2, definitely.
Yeah, that tooling's 1980s, isn't it? AIP, isn't it, or something?
and you can hardly find them. Oh, the other one would be the from the Munsters, the Dragula.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They're so expensive to find.
Yeah.
Somebody would.
Or Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
There you go.
Yeah.
Another one.
All right, on board with that, because they're saying like Bearcat, and I know it's never going to happen from FX, so let's let it go. But Lemma Crazy here has just said Herd Border is releasing a 135th Bearcat.
Nice.
Someone's
We
been
know who's going
listening.
to pre-order that.
I wouldn't build it in 135th just out of spite. Fuck them.
Aren't Border more into
Well, we have to change the name, Moss, to Border and Chill.
Yeah, that's it. 130. It has to be either 132nd or 124th.
Yeah.
Surely it can't be
Border would
135th.
build a 32nd, wouldn't they?
There's no statistical difference between.
Is that what Border do? Is 135th? Is it for their
No, it's
planes?
32nd.
What's a lot?
You could display it with
Border
the
by all
tanks
the
then,
windows.
couldn't you?
Why would they do a 135th? It's not
Well, they're
even
probably
too
going to
big.
do another aircraft carrier that's showing the tower
Yeah.
and the deck in 135th scale. Like they've done the Akagi in that scale. And they're going to do carrier-based planes for it.
Oh, so you could have the Dio out of it then.
Absolutely ridiculous. I wouldn't build it. No,
Magic Factory do something similar with that, but I think that theirs were 48th.
no, in Border it'd be about 600 quid as well. Interesting if they did that. It would be
148th Bird's Nest would be good.
Yeah. I will say I do kind of wish that we saw some more like more modern, accurate dinosaur models. We used to get them all the time.
Yeah. I was thinking that. I was just thinking that, Fenders. Definitely dinosaurs.
Like you can get them as like resin kits that are
Yeah.
5-6 pieces, and they're really nice kits, but they're like $300, $400 a pop.
Yeah.
And
Or
it's a little too steep.
But Tamiya did some nice dinosaur kits.
I had the Stegosaurus that I did. That was a pretty good one.
I've got the Brachiosaurus diorama kit behind me.
Yeah, but I'd love to see them come out with some more like more accurate stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
get some feathered dinosaurs in there, get some of the more current understanding of things going.
Yeah.
Hey, it'd be nice to have a set which kind of shows the evolution of them.
Yeah,
like the
that would
iguana
be-
done from like
Yeah.
the Victorian times where they got the thumb spike on the nose and
Yeah,
trees
yep.
sort of like the hairless dinosaurs to featherless dinosaurs to the modern stuff. That'd be quite cool.
That would be neat.
What with the crocodile? That's the last one.
Yep.
Gary
Chicken.
T asked the question: what kit gave you the most fun and enjoyment building it, and why?
Ooh.
Let's do a round table then. Go on then, Fenris. What's your favourite one?
It's got to be my When Worlds Collide diorama with the Triceratops that's wrecked the McLaren. Just because it's so dumb. And I had a grin plastered across my face every step of the way because it is so stupid. And I got it right here. But I just absolutely loved this one because of the ridiculousness.
Right on.
You should put that in Scale Model World. You probably get some complaints. What about you then, Sonny? What kit has given you the most fun and enjoyment and building it, and why?
Well, you're disagreeing with me because we had this conversation pretty much last time, but it's the Gannet. I know you'll say the Sea King.
No. Can I just say, the Sea King was special.
It's
I know the Gannet's come because it's your latest one, but in all honesty, if you put the Gannet and the Sea King together, I would think people would look at your Sea King because there's a lot more to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's difficult because
chicken wire in the bloody. You put chicken wire inside.
Yeah.
You put incubation lights inside.
I did.
Inside. It's lit up.
And you made
I've got it here. I don't know if
you
there's enough
bastard.
battery juice in it. I don't think there's any battery in it.
Ah, there we go. I know, as I said, mate, you probably enjoy building the Gannet more. Fair enough.
To be honest with you, I've got to admit, it's difficult because I like both of them, really, to be honest with you. Oh, no, it has. Still a bit of juice in it.
Yeah. See what I mean, lad? It's just class.
So,
Can you imagine Phil walking and coming across something like that?
Go on then, James. Your turn. What's been your fun and enjoyment build?
I would say it's a starter set. It's the F-35P starter set.
Yeah, it's a good shout.
It was fun to build.
John Alec, what about you? What's been your favourite build and most enjoyment?
So for just pure enjoyment in terms of, soup to nuts, the cleaning up parts, building it, painting it, everything, I'd have to go with the newest release. It's what, a year and a half old now, of the Tamiya A34 Comet. That was such a joy to build and paint and put together. I just absolutely love that kit.
Yeah. Alex, your turn. What's been your favourite build?
It's a tough one. I think I've got two. So one is the Airfix 148 scale Lightning that I did.
Yeah.
And that's really, I mean, it's a nice kit. It's not perfect, but it's nice. I'd love if Airfix re-released it or retooled it. But it has a special place for me because it was my father's favorite aircraft. I bought that kit. Well, he actually bought it for me when he was alive, and doing it as a tribute to him was special. So I kind of look at it through rose-colored glasses, I guess. Maybe I didn't see any of the faults on that, but so that was probably my most meaningful build. In terms of just easy, like fun mojo builds that I cracked through, was the Airfix Cromwell. I just sat down one afternoon where Maria wasn't around, and I just built it, and it's fantastic. Looks great. I don't care how many nuts it's got on the wheels.
That's it. Go on then, John. Parker, what's your most fun and enjoyment build?
I've got two for two completely different reasons. My favourite build of all time. My favourite build of all time is the 24 scale Airfix JU87 Stuka. Absolutely fantastic. Fits like a glove. Really enjoyable to paint, and it's just super kit. And for fun, and I've built 4 of them in the past, even though they're terrible, is the Airfix Bismarck.
Really?
I don't know why, but every time I build one of those, it just puts a smile on my face.
Sorry, I thought Wayne had jumped in then. I thought he had jumped in your speak. Fair enough.
He just said it so Wayne can't choose it now.
Yeah.
I can't choose it now, the Airfix Bismarck. Go for the
It's
Airfix.
already in my stash anyway.
Go for the
then,
Airfix
Wayne.
Turfits, mate.
Go on then, Wayne. What's your favourite build?
So far, it's got to be the 1200 scale Bismarck. This is the King George V by Revell.
Okay. They go together all right?
Little fiddly the King George was, but
Yeah.
snipped a few bits off and it actually sank as it should have.
What scale?
It's the one in 1200.
1200. I think I've built the Duke of York, I think it was.
Yeah,
What was
Revell do the first diorama one, and
Yeah.
well, the plain
I've got one
as
here.
I call it, is
Oh, no,
rubbish.
sorry, that's my
And
scalpel.
paper.
Similar size.
So, right, okay. Well, do you really like? I was going through a bit of a low with my scale modelling, and one kit really did get me out of my luster, really being lackluster with scale modelling. And it was a Revell kit, and it was that I wanted to build a lorry, and I built their Kenworth. What's it called? I think it was called. I did a video on it, but it's that lorry that I built, the American truck.
Kenworth Aerodyne.
That's it, Aerodyne.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, it's almost snapped together kit almost, but you had to work at it still. Chrome wise, you had to, why? I don't understand why they don't chrome the parts separately. Just dunk the sprue in, because as soon as you cut it, you see the red plastic underneath.
Yeah.
I just was just going through bit of a lull, and over 2 nights I got that to a really good standards, because I didn't want to wear. I wanted it looking brand new, like showroom display, and it was just enjoyable. It was a fun, quirky kit, and sometimes there's kits so I've enjoyed building that, but you've done a lot of work to it. This one was basically sprayed up, glue it together, do the cab, decals down, put the wheels on, and it looks really, really good. And I think out of all the kits I've built in the last 5 years, that was one of the nicest, easiest mojo builds. And I think sometimes you need them in your life, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
Something like a bit of a mojo. Something that doesn't going to take something, nothing you have to weather it or worry about this or that. But like you said, there's been lots of kits that I've built that I've enjoyed. I did that for GT in Iron Man just for the crack, and to be fair, it went together really well. I was a bit of a nightmare underneath, but it got together. It was great. The Bearcat I've done, just put out the box. It wasn't my best build, that Bearcat, because I look at it and I think it's just too soft. It needs more refinement in the kit. But then there's a 132nd one I want to look at. Trumpeter do one, don't they? But apparently it's inaccurate, but I've got to look into it. But that's the next one on my build. And that'll make it Bearcat number 5. But yeah, there's we all have our wants. Saying that, Lightning, like the one you did, Alex, I love an E Lightning. I did a patch for it because I enjoyed building mine.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Beautiful. The 172nd, and you're right, the 148 does need an upgrade, but who's to say they're not going to do that this year? Was it 1990s, isn't it? That E Lightning, the 148?
Yeah, late 90s.
25-year-old, but then that's about 10 years too young for Airfix to want to retool it. Right. Final few questions then, just quickly. How do you display completed models. What do you do with older models you don't want to display anymore? Mine are in the library. Mine are in the library, and I take them to scale model shows. So
mine are in the shop.
Mine are in the attic.
I got a couple of these guys, both in my office and a couple in the house, that are filled with stuff. I have some of these shelves, and then most of my planes, because again, I primarily build planes, are actually hanging from the ceiling. But I've yet to get to the point where I've had to rotate things out with these. But back when I used to build a lot of Gundam, these were all filled with Gundam, and those are all now in a box in the closet here in my office. And every so often I'll actually, let me see if I can get you can see a bunch of them sitting on top of that one up there. And so every so often I'll get a bug in my ear to swap some out with some of the previous ones. So about it.
I think a lot of scale modelers tend to make a box and then place it in that box and get it out, display wise, glass cabinets really, if you've got glass cabinets. I wish I could put mine on display in the front room because it'd be a talking point when people come in, but apparently I'll have to dust them. I don't do dust.
Yep.
So do the Airfix Vintage Classics come in the original tooling only, or is there at least a retool or two? Good. Some of them are retools.
As far as I know, they're all original tooling.
All the Vintage Classics are original tooled, and the reason is it 2006 when Hornby first bought the brand Airfix? 2006, wasn't it?
2006.
Yeah.
Anything before 2006, if they release it now, will be a Vintage Classic.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
The only time you'll get a retool is if they've lost, say for instance with the Oster, they've lost part of the sprue, they have to retool it.
Now,
otherwise,
I will say though, don't they touch up the tools at the very least though? Like they'll go in, they'll clean it up, they'll check for scratches and try to fill them in and stuff like that. I feel like I heard that somewhere.
Some of the molds that I've seen, I wouldn't think they do.
Yeah, like that's what I thought, but I could have sworn I remember hearing somebody saying that they do touch them up a little bit. Like it's not like a huge thing, but enough to make them so they can produce something to sell.
I've never seen things like engraves. They've always been raised panel lines. If they originally had raised panel lines, they're pretty much original, which I quite like because it adds to the nostalgia.
Yeah. No, sorry, I meant like on the block if there's like a scratch in the metal block.
Oh yeah, they might do that. Yeah.
Like they'll fill that in so that way there's no scratches like on the side of the plastic that are molded in. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
The thing is, I mean, you could say that Airfix have retooled quite a lot because a lot of their range, think of the mosquitoes, the 7-second mosquitoes that used to do an FB7. Now they do new tooled ones, so they're kind of retooled kits. They're just new
not the vintage classic.
Yeah. I mean, the Airfix did that with most of their range. If you think about it, their current range covers a lot of the subjects they used to do.
Yeah.
They've had
Final question.
5 70-second scale Hurricanes out.
Final question then. How many Germans would build a Bearcat? You say that Trumpeter brought out their Bearcat because the Japanese market wanted a Bearcat.
I reckon
there'd be roundabouts, isn't it?
Yeah, I reckon there'd be 9. Yeah, there's a joke that fell flat then, isn't it?
Yeah,
I got it. Yeah, I think the only 2 people got it was hair dryer and hair cut, wasn't it?
Probably.
Yeah.
And people complain about me with my dad jokes.
Yeah. Anyways, that's been a really good panel tonight, and some of the questions have been absolutely brilliant. I hope we've answered as many as we could. If there's any more, I'm sorry, but it's getting on. But it's been a really good show tonight. Lots to go through. Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of subject matter tonight, and it's been really, really good. We'll do another one in the future, obviously.
Yeah,
next
it's
week we'll
been
look back to main. We'll find a topic next week.
Yeah,
Hairy
that flew
stick
by.
or airbrush. Oh, the Airfix 148 tooling was 1997. Yeah, so that was one of the first then, wasn't it? That's probably
Was, yeah.
probably Humbrol Hella era then anyway, wasn't it? Humbrol
Yeah.
era then. Like the 7-class lifeboat. I know they're re-releasing it, but in theory, this should be a vintage classic. In theory,
Yeah, it should.
it should be a vintage classic.
And if they sold it with a seeking, would it have the old tool seeking in it?
Yeah, like this one as well. You know,
I've
so-
seen one of those in 48 scale on eBay recently. It was going for about £30.
Oh, did there?
Honestly, yeah. I don't know if it stayed at that price by the time it sold, but
I can beat that, John. Right, that one. Right,
get it.
bugger all. I've got to give him that. I've got to give him that. The best thing that will wind anybody that's like TSR2s, I don't care for it.
You don't.
It doesn't bother me in the slightest. But I thought, you know what? As it was given me, and they go for a bit, I'll get one. But I'm not doing it. I'm. See if it'll come up on.
So I just see Nunu in the chat. Nice to see you, my friend. You must come up on here sometime. Next time you get some time. Oh yeah, you've got the we got big screen.
Yeah.
There's the extra decals, or
Yeah, so I'm doing the Swedish one. There is a few.
Yeah,
There's a few different ones on it. It's Japanese, Canadian,
Oh, I like that.
the Swede, and the French. But I'm doing the Swede one because I want to do that camo, the Sprinter. Yeah, I
You should have
know.
done the French one. That would have offended most people.
It just, I just have to. You'd have to have a white flag put on the side.
there we go. Got some nice comments here. Great Q&A, guys. Many thanks. Good panel tonight. Brilliant. Free format show. This was fun. Yeah, it was free format. I had no real I tried to set a topic and then we go off on a merry way from a topic, but it's
To be fair though, it's more thanks to you guys for answering the questions. To be fair,
yeah, it's good. Yeah, well
'cause
done,
to be fair, you guys have actually helped with this one. To be fair, more than us.
I just haven't been in the right mind space last 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Right.
So it's but yeah, it's been a good stream, and it's good to hear from yours. The idea of Airfix and Chill is for everyone. It's not. I know I host it and pay for it and that, but at the end of the day, it's what's put in the chat. And then sometimes I feel that we do lose the chat a bit when we get into subjects, but it is very difficult to be in the moment and pull things across. But I promise you that the chat does stay up, and it is good. When I rewatch it, I go and see what people have commented. So don't be afraid to put what you feel up there. So and everybody's still smiling. It must be for Mother's Day hangover or a really good show. Well, I was desperate to find out when Mother's Day was finishing because I was starving by the end of it. You know what I mean? So anyway, folks, brilliant night tonight. Thanks all for joining us, and we'll be back again next Monday. Take care all, and have a good rest of your week. Ta-da. Bye.
Oi.